In the headlines, bandits kill 6 persons in Niger FCT border. Families of alleged trafficked children in Taraba State call for help. NMPP candidate Kwankwaso Fayose visit Governor Wike in Port Harcourt. And on the foreign scene, local officials say Russian missiles hit military sites across Ukraine. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. At least 6 persons, including 5 vigilantes, have been reportedly killed, and several farmers were abducted in their farms in border communities between Lapai local government area of Niger State and the Federal Capital Territory. Daily Trust gathered that the incident happened on Friday afternoon around Duma, Rada and Rafindaji communities, which border Niger State and the Federal Capital Territory. The commander, Niger State Vigilante Corps, Lapai Division, Muhammad Ibrahim, said 2 vigilantes from Niger State and 3 others from the Federal Capital Territory, as well as one of the farmers kidnapped from Duma village, Lapai local government area, were killed. The Niger State Commissioner for Internal Security, Emmanuel Umar, confirmed the incident. Families of alleged trafficked children in Taraba State have dragged both the state government and the state police command to the federal government over the alleged release of the suspected trafficker. The suspect, Mary Yakubu, would be recalled, was on April 2019 arrested for allegedly being in illegal possession of no fewer than 16 children. Representatives whose children have been under the custody of the state government for the past 3 years said all efforts to get their children and wards reunited with their family members have proved abortive. The families, who lamented the alleged release of the suspected trafficker while the children are still being kept under the watch of the state government, called on the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, wade in by facilitating the release of their children. When reached for comment, the State Commissioner of Police, Abimbola Shokoya, told newsmen that the case is an inherited one, adding that the police under his leadership has been providing adequate security for the children.
Well, with regards to the release of Madam Mary, I would say that I have not been intimated with any information of what actually happened, how the children got to the welfare center. We don't know much about that because this is an inherited matter. Unless I go into the archives or I start checking the files, that's when I can know the position of Madam Mary. But what is certain, the one that the veracity cannot be doubted or controverted, is that the children were there at the welfare center, which is an integral part of Taraba Motel. Forcefully, they were whisked away, and with concerted efforts, we'll be able to rescue. 51 out of the 72 that were whisked away, and we have returned them back to the welfare center. So, Madam Mary, we don't know much, and we would not like to go into what we do not, the case that we did not investigate.
Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Kaili, has commended the cooperation and synergy between the 194 member countries of the International Criminal Police Organization, Interpol, which has facilitated worldwide police cooperation for enhanced crime control. The IGP equally commended efforts of the operatives of the Force Criminal Investigation Department, Interpol section, for leveraging the platform made available through Interpol to curb trans-border crimes, especially crimes that cascade into other neighboring African countries. The IGP gave the commendation following the successful recovery of 3 vehicles stolen from Nigeria in Niger Republic. The achievement, according to a statement from the Force Public Relations Officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, was recorded following credible intelligence and physical support from operatives of Interpol in Niamey, which led to the trailing of a trans-border car theft syndicate and the eventual recovery of their loot. The investigation, which lasted for several days, led to the recovery of a Toyota Camry, Mercedes-Benz 2012 model, and a Hyundai vehicle. National Chairman of Nomadic Right Concern, Professor Umar Labdu, wants Nigerians to stop profiling the Fulani tribe as bandits or terrorists. Labdu, at a press conference in Kaduna, said the current security challenges associated to some bad elements among Fulani could be overcome if measures are put in place to educate them. The report.
According to the chairman of the group, Professor Umar Labdo, represented by Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, the only way to solve the famous herders clash and other crimes associated to some bad element among the Fulani tribe is to adopt a modern livestock breeding and rearing method. He said the federal government should also listen to the grievances of Fulani pastoralists.
The work already started by me, which is engaging nomads and herders and talking to them and listening to their grievances. It will open up a window through which they will make themselves heard by the authorities and the society in general.
Another issue of concern raised was ethnic profiling of Fulani tribe as criminals, which the Fulani leader said the narrative exposed them as target and dangerous people among Nigerians.
It all boils down to the issue of this profiling, ethnic profiling, because I believe that wherever you come from, you have, these herders living in your vicinity for so many years. Now, with this profiling, every Fulani man is seen as a criminal, and it makes it very, very difficult for us. And if you come to the real fact, you find out that the Fulani suffers these criminalities more than anybody.
You see, whenever you talk about perpetrating crimes and you relate it to a nomad or a pastoralist, there is a problem. Because all over the nation, everybody's in every society we have criminals. And if you have criminals, we should not accuse a particular group of people and say they are the criminals, whereas they are not. Relate criminals to criminals, bandits to bandits. Don't relate it to any tribe or culture or society.
Nomadic Right Concern is a new Fulani nomad group seeking to address the gap between herdsmen and the larger society due to recent spate of insecurity and ethnic clashes involving the pastoral nomads.
And to politics now, where the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Rabiu Kwankwaso, visited Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State. He met Wike less than 24 hours after Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, visited the Rivers governor in Port Harcourt. There has been an uneasy calm in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, over the romance of Wike with politicians from other parties. Wike's hope to become the running mate of the PDP's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, was dashed on June 16th when the latter picked the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, against the recommendation of the party's advisory council on the running mate selection. Meanwhile, the African Democratic Congress ADC governorship candidate in Rivers State, Tonte Ibrahe, has presented controversial actress Tonto Dike as his running mate ahead of the 2023 elections. Dike announced the nomination via her social media handles on Friday, where she shared her plans if elected during next year's election. Tonte Ibrahe and Tonto Dike were also presented with their certificates of return by the ADC party chairman, Ralph Oke Nwosu, in Abuja on Friday. The issuance, according to the party, showed its readiness to start mobilizing for support towards victory at the general election.
As you are aware, ADC is out to ensure that democracy is practiced in this country in the right way that it should be. It happened in Abeokuta, where 2,050 delegates, without anybody urging them, decided to vote the way they voted. That's democracy in action. Clear democracy. Some people may not like it, but we are in a constitutional democracy. In a constitutional democracy, you must allow diversity of opinion. What has happened, as far as our party is concerned, is exactly that.
And the Supreme Court struck out President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation suit challenging Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act. The case was expunged on the grounds of lack of jurisdiction to entertain the suit, it described as an abuse of court process. Meanwhile, counsel to the National Assembly, Kayode Ajulo, is praising the court judgment. The lawyer, in an exclusive interview with Trust TV, says the judgment is evident that constitutional democracy is working. Mardia Umar reports.
The matter was filed in court through the vacation of the President and the Attorney General of the Federation, invoking the original jurisdiction of the court, from the High Court to the Supreme Court. Frank Ajulo, an Abuja-based lawyer and counsel to the National Assembly, reacts to the court judgment at a court sitting.
Another one is the fact that we believe that there is no case before the court. No case in the sense that for the president to invoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court on such matter, the matter should have been the case that involved the president and the National Assembly. Not that some people, the president will be acting in representative capacity for some people, because our argument is to the fact that whosoever, anybody that needs to complain should be the political appointee that are complaining. The political appointee are known, they are not masquerade, they are well known, we even know their numbers. You can easily ascertain the number of all political appointees in Nigeria. And for the president to leave everything in this world, as big as Nigerian problem is, to now be filing a case on behalf of the political appointee, I will believe the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is so busy and so great to disturb himself with that. And the court agree with us.
He also speaks on the implication of the judgment to the Nigerian constitution and democracy.
The implication here is that our law is working, our democracy is working. Our constitution is working too. And it's for them to know that the law, the court is all there to settle any differences. And I want to believe there is justice, and that's what the Supreme Court has done today.
And as more states declare public holidays to allow residents get permanent voter cards, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is called upon to extend the ongoing continuous voters registration exercise beyond the June 30th deadline. The exercise started in June last year is now facing a last-minute rush, as many Nigerians are yet to register.
To be a continuous exercise without a deadline.
Voters registration centers, voters raise questions on the need for the extension.
Why disenfranchise those who turn 18 by January? For me personally, I think it's supposed to be a continuous exercise.
Yes, the extension is okay, it's welcomed by us, but then they should put enough structure for it to be easy for people to vote. Like, imagine coming all the way from the other side of town just to do the registration here in the heart of town. Imagine the hassles, the stress and everything. When I got to their office first, they told me the best time to come is early in the morning. Most of us are workers. We don't have the time.
Each month, each day, people turn up a thing. And they have to participate. They are Nigerians. They should be involved. So why do you want to disenfranchise them? Let alone people that now people are willing to get this voters card. So the INEC should step up their game.
I've been here since morning, but thank God I could get my temporary PVC. I'm waiting the permanent one. There's some sense of positivity. That's the drive, not just getting the PVC or any deadline. Just the drive, the positivity we are seeing, envisioning, that's what's pushing us. So an extension, probably a month, or I don't know, it won't cause any distraction. It's 2023. This is a modern age. After an extension, they have enough time to the end of the year to do whatever they want to do.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. And still to come on the news, consequences of obsession with skin bleaching. Details of this and more after the break. You stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now another look at our top stories. Bandits kill 6 persons in Niger FCT border. And families of alleged trafficked children in Taraba State call for help. And now in other news, in an effort to further reduce the burden of malaria, Nasarawa State has keyed into the seasonal malaria prevention strategy known as Seasonal Malaria Chemo Prevention Intervention. State Commissioner for Health, Ahmed Baba Yahya, made this known at a media parley for the flag-off of the second round of the program in Lafia. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented in our studio.
Malaria is a life-threatening disease which requires regular attention, hence the key into the sensational fight against the disease. The strategy has been ongoing in the Sahel and Savannah regions of the country for years, and significant results have been achieved through the implementation of strategy in these regions. Speaking on the strategy, Nasarawa State Commissioner for Health, Ahmed Baba Yahya, said in implementing planned strategy, attention will be given more on children who are the most vulnerable on the disease.
The seasonal malaria preventive is a preventive intervention focused on children under 5 as I said. It is defined as the intermittent administration of a full course of anti-malaria medicine during the high malaria season to prevent malaria illness with objectives of maintaining therapeutic anti-malaria drug concentrations in the blood throughout the period of the greatest malaria risk.
He said in the first year of the implement, over the 10 years personnel were involved in a total of 700 children between the ages of 3 to 15 months across the state were targeted. He explained that even though with the adoption of these previous plans, malaria has continued to reduce, but used present strategy led to foster to drop the burden of the malaria in the state.
As we are aware, the malaria is a life-threatening disease caused by parasites that are transmitted to people through the bite of infected female Anopheles mosquito. Even though the burden of this malaria has continued to drop from 60% since the creation of this state to 30% in 2010, and up to the recent survey that will have about 14.6% in 2018.
He called on media practitioners to use their profession to propagate information that will guide the residents on the prevention of malaria in the state.
And over 8 years of insecurity has ravaged thousands of farming communities in Katsina State, throwing many into hunger and abject poverty. As a result of this worrisome situation, many people, especially children, are severely malnourished, particularly in the insecurity-prone local government areas of Katsina. Abdullahi Amadi visited Maternal and Child Health Center in Jibia local government area, where children with severe and moderate malnutrition are treated free of charge, courtesy of Medicine Sans Frontières.
The process here is made easier by the sponsor, the Medicine Sans Frontières, as constant sensitization is maintained on the best practices to fight malnutrition. For the newcomers to the facility, the height and weight of the children will be measured to determine whether they fit the profile of being malnourished. Thousands of children have undergone this same process. Those found severely malnourished are referred to Kofar Sauri in Katsina for further investigation. However, children with moderate cases of malnutrition are given ready-to-use therapeutic feed, otherwise known as kwamasu in Hausa language.
Kwana na sati uku ina zuwa yau. Amma ina ganin alhamdulillah jiki gaskiya.
My child was malnourished because I have nothing to offer her. I have little or nothing to feed her. We no longer go to farms, no animals, nothing. Our communities have been devastated by terrorists. My child was very sick when I brought him to this facility. But look at him now, looking healthy. He was given this supplement, otherwise known as kwamasu, which is very effective.
The health facility attends to malnourished children in its catchment area, which covers Jibia, Bazari, Safana, and Damusa. Experts attribute malnutrition to hunger, abject poverty, and economic deprivation. Many communities in Katsina State are prone to these factors as a result of a level of insecurity which is deteriorating by the day.
I tell you honestly, that essence of malnutrition is poverty. It's that lack of...
There's too much poverty.
Too much of poverty. Honestly, it's poverty. If there's no poverty, what are the essence of malnutrition? You have money to buy food, essential food to eat. You don't have any problem for poverty.
Observers say many people, especially children, will risk death from hunger unless stringent measures are taken to forestall insecurity to allow communities resume to farming activities. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now, skin bleaching is a cosmetic practice that aims to lighten someone's skin. Some use it to lighten specific areas or dark spots, while others may want to lighten their overall skin tone. In Nigeria today, the practice is rampant among both males and females, as they believe that being light-skinned is a sign of beauty. Bleaching is to make a human skin white or much lighter by a chemical process. Now, Ibrahim Ismail examines the effects of bleaching on the human skin.
Studies shows that women in Nigeria are the highest consumers of skin whitening creams, according to a controversial 2015 data by WHO. 77% of women in Nigeria use skin lightening products, a situation that calls for scrutiny and strong awareness campaigns on the dangers and adverse effects of bleaching creams. According to health experts, bleaching has been associated with a number of life-threatening health issues. A consultant and family physician at Gombe State Specialist Hospital, Dr. Dangana Ahmadu, said skin whitening is mostly triggered by psychological problems.
One of those is a dysphobia that make you feel you are not good enough. Maybe one has a dark skin and he or she begins to feel like, no, when I become fairer, I'll be liked more by my friends, by my colleagues, or whoever. So the person now, because of this psychopathic way of thinking, begins to go to get to want to bleach his skin.
The family health physician said bleaching has consequences which are classified from short to long-term effects.
You will realize that some part of your body is fair, the other part is dark, the other part is brown. So you become a multicolored skin individual. So what that will ensure is begin to make you feel depressed and anxious. So you are coming into it to get a toned skin. All of a sudden you are getting a multicolored, bizarre, disfigured skin. So fungal infections, bacterial infections, recurrent bacterial and fungal infections is the order of the day for this kind of people. Some of the deep damage to the skin that can happen is what we call skin cancer.
Dr. Dangana urged people to shun bleaching to preserve the value of their skin and advise those who are not satisfied with their skin color to consult medical experts for proper counseling.
While we cannot control all the reasons for which people want to have these bleachings, but we do believe that by the time you come, we probably may advise you and get you even a better perspective of what you have, and you probably may learn and know how to live with what you think you may not be able to live with it.
The global skin lightening product market size was estimated at $10.57 billion in 2022, and Nigeria led the purchasing trend. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And now to a look at the foreign scene, where dozens of Russian missiles rained down on military facilities in western and northern Ukraine on Saturday, local officials said, as Europe's biggest land conflict since World War II entered its 5th month. The governor of the Lviv region in western Ukraine, Maxim Kositsky, said in a video posted online that 6 missiles were fired from the Black Sea at the Yavoriv base, with 4 hitting the base and 2 being intercepted and destroyed before hitting their target. Vitaly Bunechko, governor of the Zhytomyr region in the north of the country, said strikes on a military target killed at least 1 soldier. Nearly 30 missiles were launched at one military infrastructure facility very near to the city of Zhytomyr, said Bunechko, adding that nearly 10 missiles had been intercepted and destroyed. And finally, in sports, Team Nigeria on Friday qualified for the men's 4x100-meter relay event of the forthcoming World Athletics Championships in Oregon, United States. The quartet of Favour Ashe, Godson Brume, Alaba Akintola and Udodi Muzurike, who is reigning world under-20 champion, ran a new time of 38.34 seconds. The team booked a ticket for Nigeria at the ongoing trials in Benin, Edo State, for both the World Athletics Championship and the 2022 Commonwealth Games slated for Birmingham. The teams from Ghana and the Republic of Benin also joined Nigerian athletes at the trials holding at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin. The new time, Nigeria moved in the rankings above South Africa, which were previously holding the best time with 38.51 seconds before the race in Benin. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.